Before we get on to the video, do me a favor and hit the like button, it greatly helps out the channel. Also, while you're down there, subscribe for more. Now back to the video. The Lord of Ruin's daughter left the castle, and she headed to the recruitment area. At the arena where the recruitment trial for the mercenaries would be hosted, she was seen angrily approaching by a red-haired man and a blonde-haired man. Seeing the agitated look on this woman, Rain's face, the blonde-haired man asked if everything was okay. The red-haired man chuckled, stating that Rain probably got scolded by that old man again. A man with glasses interjected. He asked the redhead, Rango, to watch his mouth, since the person he was talking about is the lord of this city. Rango turned to the man with glasses, Lion, and he made a sly remark, saying Lion is boring because he always acts serious. This remark irritated Lion. He glared at Rango, expressing in a cold tone that he can't just ignore insults towards the lord of the city. To keep things from escalating, Rain asked the both of them to stop. Afterwards, she inquired about the recruitment, and she questioned if they found anyone useful. Rango turned her attention to the mercenaries who had gathered for recruitment so far, and he expressed that even if they filled their ranks with 10 of these men, they would still be useless in battle. Rango smiled and he told Rain that they should just do the operation themselves. Lion interjected, stating that this is the only time he can agree with Rango. Rain shook her head in disappointment at the sight of the mercenaries. Then she turned to the blonde-haired man, Hart, and she asked him if anyone got his attention. Hart started looking through the mercenaries again as he observed them. He told Rain that he wasn't sure if they would be useful, but he did notice some interesting mercenaries who could prove useful. As he finished saying this, Hart's eyes lit up with excitement, and he pointed out a mercenary at the gate of the recruitment arena. Sion, who had dyed his hair black, walked through the gates confidently, with an ominous aura about him. Some time later, almost all the mercenaries had gathered, so Rain decided that they should get started. As Rain explained what would be happening during the recruitment, the mercenaries stood listening attentively. The mercenaries then started gossiping amongst themselves, as this was their first time seeing most of the 7 elites of the North gathered in one place, and they questioned why the 7 elites suddenly posted a recruitment request. Amidst all the gossip, Sion had his gaze fixated on Rain. This woman in front of him was Rain Dranier, and in the novel she becomes one of the hero's allies in the future. Rain was blessed with talent given by the heavens that only appears once in 1,000 years. Strongest spear user in history, Dragon Slayer, King Godly Spear. These are all the titles she will attain in the future. And in the novel, Rain stands as one of the strongest characters. However, Sion knows that everything he narrated earlier doesn't apply right now. Sion, under the fake name Xian Harns, was called to come to the center of the arena. As he approached the battle arena, the other mercenaries observed Sion closely, and they chuckled amongst themselves at the sight of his weak body. After entering the arena, Sion was met with his opponent. Sion's opponent, Human Slaughter Euro, an obnoxious wanted criminal who walks free because the troops were afraid to arrest him, chuckled after seeing Sion, and he questioned if he would really be his opponent. Sion ignored his opponent. He instead turned his attention to the 7 elites, especially Rain. From what he knows from the novel, what they judge to see if you would be fit for the operation is skill. Euro was slightly annoyed that Sion was ignoring him. He pointed the end of his spear at Sion, and after getting Sion's attention, he expressed with a smile that someone like Sion is going to die today. Sion remained silent. This further agitated Euro, and with an annoyed look on his face, he warned Sion to go down before it was too late. Euro quickly rushed in, and in that moment, he continued on saying that Sion should do this if he doesn't want to lose a limb. Euro pulled back his spear, and he jumped at Sion to strike him down. Sion looked oddly calm. He glared at Euro, and he started searching for the strength points in Euro's attack. Suddenly, Euro's body became translucent, and orange dots appeared throughout his body, indicating to Sion the strong points in Euro's attack. Sion observed the strong points, and he narrated that every movement that exists in this world has a strong point. Sometimes there can be tens of thousands of strong points in a single move, and if even one of those strong points is disturbed, then the whole attack will fall apart. Sion noted that this should be enough, so he decided not to use his Black Star River ability. Sion directed some mana at one of the strong points in Euro's attack, disorienting him. And as Euro stumbled, Sion moved to the side, and he expressed that it's a shame for Euro since his attacks won't work on him. Sion tripped Euro, and as Euro was falling to the ground, Sion pulled back his fists, and he uppercut Euro, sending him flying. With Euro's defeat, the other recruits were left speechless. They couldn't believe their eyes. They questioned how someone with a weak body like Sion's was able to beat the notorious Euro. Sion ignored them. He turned around, and he started walking out of the arena. Hart, who had been closely watching Sion's battle, turned to Rain, and he asked for her opinion about Sion's battle. He expressed that he was further intrigued by Sion because he was able to win the battle with a minimum amount of movement. And usually people only use those kinds of strategies when they face an opponent more powerful than them. However, he thinks Seon was fighting efficiently because of his weak body, and Rain agreed. Rango interrupted Rain's thinking. He couldn't understand why she was so interested in a weak-looking bastard. He agreed that Seon has good skill, but the skill Seon just showed is something any one of them can do. He added that if they recruited Seon, he would die with just a slip during their mission because of his weak body. Lion expressed that he has the same thought as Rango. He explained that during the battle Seon seemed like he was walking on blades. He did notice some trace of training, but because of how Seon fought during the battle, he concluded that Seon was most likely born with a weak body. Lion praised Seon for having a great sense of battle. However, he started wondering why Seon didn't become a wizard instead, since his weak body would hold him back during mercenary work. Rain expressed that maybe Seon couldn't become a wizard because he didn't have the talent for it. Sometime later, the recruitment was drawing to an end, and Rain bowed her head in disappointment because she couldn't find a single person who was promising. However, as disappointed as she was, she quickly resolved herself, and she noted that they can't delay the operation any longer. She looked up, and her attention was drawn to a strange man entering the area walking awkwardly. Rain observed the man closely, and she noticed the tattoo of a six-headed beast on the man's right ankle. This agitated her. She stood up from her chair, and she angrily questioned why a bastard from the Purification Cult was here. The Purification Cult is a minority group that worships the evil sealed in the Black Forest that Rain is trying to subdue. It is a religion that spreads like a disease in the northern part of the empire. This of course includes the city of Ruin. The members of the Purification Cult are all irredeemable trash. Their crimes range from kidnapping to murder and human sacrifice. Rain was confused. She made sure to filter through the mercenaries twice before beginning the recruitment, so she questioned how a Purification Cult member was able to get through. Rain quickly grabbed her spear. This confused Heart, and he called out to her in a questioning tone. The old man suddenly started laughing maniacally. Then he expressed in an ominous tone that the six-headed beast shall arrive. The old man took off his shirt, revealing a heart implant on his chest. The man added to his previous chant, saying it is their duty to make way before she arrives, and they must purge these ignorant non-believers. Hearing this, the remaining participants started to panic. The old man started to transform, and he added that these ignorant fools will realize how foolish they are through death. The old man grinned, and his eyes started glowing red. The old man's body became disfigured, but before he could finish, Rain jumped from where she was, and like a bolt of lightning, she struck down the old man with her spear. The other members of the 7 elite rushed to Rain. Rain turned to face them, and she expressed that they should calm down. She stated that for now she thinks she stopped them. However, her attention was quickly drawn to behind Heart, Rango, and Lion. Behind them she noticed another person entering the area with an ominous aura. Rain quickly realized that she had been duped and that the old man was a distraction. She shouted with a distraught look on her face for someone to stop this person. However, this person's body had already started to become disfigured, and shortly after this person exploded, but suddenly black streak of mana appeared around the explosion. Rain gritted her teeth, and she braced herself, but during the shockwave, her gaze was fixated on the explosion. After the dust settled, it revealed that the explosion was contained somehow, and the black streak of mana that Rain noticed around the explosion quickly started to disappear. The other members of the 7 elites were left speechless. Rango and Lion quickly approached Rain. Rango started laughing. He questioned how Rain was able to do that, and with a smile, he asked when did she secretly learn to do something like this. With a concerned look on his face, Lion asked Rain if she was okay. Heart also approached, and he complimented her, saying that was amazing. Rain still had her gaze fixated forwards. In a serious tone she told the other member of the 7 elite that she wasn't the one who did that. She then asked them if they didn't see what happened. Before the Purification Cult member exploded, Rain saw Seon standing behind the Purification Cult member. And right before the explosion, Seon lifted his hand, and black streaks of mana flowed from his hands. And that streak of mana was the reason why the explosion was contained. Rain was left in a daze, questioning if what she had seen was real. Seon remembered everything in the novel. Because of this, it was easy for him to predict and change the occurring events. That's why he has been handling everything easily. But for the recruitment, he knew based on her character in the novel, that merely outperforming the other mercenaries wouldn't be enough to capture Rain's attention. Fortunately, the Purification Cult member's attack occurred without any errors, and because he took care of it, he was able to get recruited. And the next day he was invited to their strategy meeting. After everyone arrived, Rain struck the table to get their attention, and she expressed that everyone present in this room will be taking part in the subjugation operation. In a demanding tone, she ordered them to get familiar with one another. The 7 elites and the mercenaries from the recruitment looked around the table. Seon looked around and he made note of someone named Kayla, another member of the 7 elites of the north who wasn't present for the recruitment yesterday. Kayla was sitting beside a man Seon had never seen before, so he guessed that that person was a nominee. Then Sion turned his attention to an elf, and he noted that it seems like him and this woman were the only ones selected from the mercenary recruitment. After giving everyone some time to get familiar, Rain spoke, saying from this point on she will begin to summarize the subjugation operation, so they had better listen well. Rain explained to the others that a peculiar forest exists between Ruined City and the Salios Mountains, and in that forest everything including the trees and grass is stained black, which is why they call it the Black Forest. Those who enter the forest never come out, so it is prohibited to enter, and that is why the forest is managed by the city. The elf-ear mercenary interrupted. She expressed that she already knew about the Black Forest, so rather than Rain telling them what they already know, she instead wanted to know about what they will be trying to subjugate in the Black Forest, and why. Rain expressed that they will be subjugating evil. This confused the elf-ear mercenary, and she repeated the word evil in a questioning tone, awaiting an explanation. Rain placed both hands on the table, and she expressed that some of them might have heard about the legends about her family's founder. For those who didn't know, she explained that the legend is about a hero who was covered in the blood of a dragon, and afterwards he gained the power of a dragon. He used this power to destroy the evil covering Ruined City, and that is why he is referred to as the founder. Rain's gaze intensified, and she expressed that even though it is a famous story in the north, the evil wasn't actually destroyed back then. She explained that the evil was too strong for the founder to kill, so he sealed it away instead. As such, Ruin has been paying the price for that with. As she said this, Sion interjected, stating they have been paying the price with the purification cult. After Sion said this, Rain glared at him with a skeptical look. Then she stated in a serious tone that Sion is correct. She expressed that to be exact, the purification ritual that takes place at the end of the purification event is the price. Hart was confused, and he asked if Rain was talking about the ritual where convicts from Ruined City are sent to the Black Forest. Rain sighed, stating that that is the ritual she was talking about. She went on to tell them that those people who are sent to the forest are sacrificed to preserve the seal. Hart struck the table, and he expressed in a disappointed tone that he has been wondering why such a barbaric ritual was allowed to continue until now. Rango chuckled, and he questioned if they really need to subjugate the evil in the forest when the convicts are destined to die anyway. Rain motioned her hand forward, showing them her fingers, and she expressed that 5 people a month are offered to the Black Forest as sacrifices. She asked them what they think will happen if there aren't enough convicts. Before anyone could answer, she explained that those guilty of minor crimes, or even innocent ones, will have to be sacrificed instead, because if the quota isn't met then the evil will be released. And to Rain, that is a shitty situation. She clenched her fists, expressing that having to sacrifice her people's lives to some unknown damned bastard isn't something she is willing to do. Rango started clapping and cheering. He agreed with Rain, saying that is a good enough reason for the subjugation. Rain added in a serious tone that they don't know much about this evil entity, but one sure thing is that its power has significantly diminished due to the long-standing seal. She explained that because of a unique magical barrier, only a handful of people can enter the Black Forest, and the people she had gathered here are the strongest ones she could find. Kayla interjected. She expressed that she understands where Rain is coming from, but she pointed at Sion, stating that she doesn't understand why Rain was including him. Rango agreed with Kayla. He turned to Sion, saying he would like to know the reason as well. The 7 elites of the North, who are called the Skies of the Next Generation. With just their names alone, a huge support force can be formed, and their skills are said to have surpassed the limits of humans. And 5 among those elites have gathered here, so based on all the information about them, Sion expected that they would be skeptical of him because of his weak body. Rain went silent, and Sion observed her closely, waiting to see what she would tell the others. Rain sighed, and she expressed that she just has a feeling about Sion, a feeling that they will need him somehow. Rango was agitated. He questioned if Rain had been drinking for her to say they would need someone with a weak body. Sion let out a sigh of relief. From what Rain said, he concluded that she seemed suspicious of him. He made sure she saw his power when the purification cult members attacked. But since she wasn't telling the others about his power, confirmed another one of Sion's suspicions. It gave him proof that Rain is suspicious about people in this room as well. And it made sense for her to be suspicious, because a man from the purification cult coming inside the palace would be impossible without help from the inside. Sion knows who the betrayer is, but he had no plans of telling Rain who it is right now, because all these are trials for Rain to grow stronger. Moving on from that, Rain told the others that they should discuss Sion's matter another time, and she expressed that she will now explain the route they will be taking. As Rain explained the route she planned on taking and why, Kayla glared at Sion. Later that night, by a water fountain, Sion was in a meditation pose, practicing to control the Black Star River ability. After he was done, he released some mana from his hand, and as he observed he noted that he couldn't control it as freely as he used to. It was better than the first time he woke up inside this body, but as of now, Sion isn't sure if he could beat one of the 7 elite. Sion crushed the mana in his hands. He knows that in the future he will face opponents who are way stronger than the 7 elites, and time won't wait for him to get stronger. So to keep up, he wanted to reach 2 stars as soon as possible. Suddenly he heard a voice that caught his attention. The voice spoke saying Sion is using quite a fascinating ability. Sion turned his head to locate the source of this voice, and he saw a white-haired woman approaching him. The sight of the white-haired woman left Sion speechless. With a smile, the white-haired woman asked Sion to tell her how he is doing that. Sion ignored her question. He instead asked her in a questioning tone if she was already released. The white-haired woman was taken aback that Sion already knew who she was, however she didn't think it would matter. She continued to approach Sion, and as she approached, she disappeared, and appeared in front of Sion in an instant. When she was in front of Sion, she advised him not to come to the forest. Sion looked up at her, and with a menacing smile, the white-haired lady expressed that if Sion comes to the Black Forest then he will die. After saying this, she quickly disappeared. After she was gone, Sion smiled slightly, and with an excited tone he expressed out loud that things just got more interesting. He thought back to the look on the white-haired lady's face, and he questioned if she appeared in front of him because he influenced the story. But after thinking about it some more, Sion concluded that it doesn't matter. He stood up, and he walked away from the water fountain. After walking some distance away, Sion spoke out loud, asking someone to come out. The Eye of the Moon member that was following him in the previous part poked his head out of a tree branch, and with a puzzled look on his face, he questioned how Sion is able to tell that he is being followed. Sion didn't answer him, and after the Eye of the Moon member came down from the tree, he asked him if he had the item he requested. The Eye of the Moon member took out a small pouch, and he reached forth his hand, saying this is the highest class spell storage stone that Sion ordered. As Sion took the pouch, the Eye of the Moon member told Sion that it was hard to get this on short notice, so there would be an additional charge. He also asked what Sion planned on using the spell storage stone for. Sion expressed that he planned on using it for surrender. This confused the Eye of the Moon member, and he looked at Sion with a puzzled expression. Sion didn't give him an answer. He turned his back, and he started walking away. Realizing that he wouldn't get an answer, the Eye of the Moon member started racking his brain, questioning how he should report this. The next day, Rain and the subjugation party left for the Black Forest. As the party got closer to the center of the forest, Sion looked forwards, noticing that the forest ahead was really black. And the closer they got, the darker the dirt on the ground, the trees, the grass, and even the stone got. It seemed like all of the light was being absorbed. The creepy forest made Hart uncomfortable. He questioned how the Draenir family was able to keep this place a secret from the public. He added that something as serious as this should have been raided by the Empire, not a city like Ruin. Rango teased Hart, asking him if he wanted to go back. The others joined in as well, saying if Hart is a coward he should go back alone. Sion observed the party closely without saying a word. He was taken aback because even though Rain didn't give them a proper explanation, no one was truly complaining. And Sion could see that they really believed in Rain. The only problem he is encountering is that Kayla is still skeptical of him, and she has been keeping a close eye on him. Sometime later they arrived at the sealed part of the forest, and Rain announced to the others that they will be heading in right away. However, Rain did not enter yet. She could feel that the evil energy had gotten stronger, and even though she doesn't know what is going on inside the Black Forest for that to happen, she couldn't waste any more time. Lion became concerned. He asked her if they weren't going to go in as planned. This snapped Rain out of it, and with a smile, she stated that they will. But before that, she took out her spear, and as electricity flowed through her, she expressed that they should at least knock before entering. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, then hit the like button.